The Nice House by the Sea, issue 8, James Tynion IV, writing with Alvaro Martinez Bueno on the R. So the assault on the house from the other house had started last issue with them coming in. The one character in particular being kind of creepy about it and acting all serial killer. And we do get to that obviously quite early in the issue, but there's some more backstory first, where more characters, and it always seems to be one of the characters is recounting memories of Walter and some of the build up to what became of like how Walter chose the people he chose. So we have and forgive me, I don't remember the character's name. This is the redhead is Molly. Yeah, Molly, that's it. Molly, that's right. And she's recounting how she'd be giving advice to Walter, and it was in the aftermath of Oliver. Like, you know, he was very fragile after Oliver and was trying to like get him to get back out there and so on. And kind of, you know, like when she did bring up, you know, like that people like him and that he should try and get over Oliver. Like, is this still about him? The art here is phenomenal because it's like all very normal panels, but it's like the more and more personal the conversation's getting, or the more and more uncomfortable Walter's getting, there's more and more kind of like these like sort of horizontal breakup lines entering the panels. So when she finally says, "Is this about Oliver?" it goes like almost nuclear, where it's like almost his head's exploding and all the panels are going out in these horizontal lines. And then she says in her narration, like, "Oh, that was kind of the end. Like the friendship was never the same after that." It's like Walter kind of distanced himself from her. So it really sets up kind of the impact that relationship had. And obviously Oliver's the actor from the other house that we've been seeing a lot throughout this book.
And there's a piece here as they're talking where, you know, she's like, "You have to put yourself out there. Like, we know you. We know how good you are." And he's like, "I only let you know me because you're special, exceptional." And she's like, "I'm not exceptional." And he goes, "I disagree." And so it just also goes into the whole point of these two houses of what does being exceptional mean. And it feels like Walter was getting in on the like emotional level. Like, even though that their relationship wasn't the same after this, it's almost because she wasn't afraid to push him, right? And that's what leads to him having this big blow up that you said go nuclear, and that kind of dissolved the friendship. However, she still was invited to the house, you know, so it's almost like the fact that this friend group is constantly pushing each other, right? They can lean on each other
for sure.
That's what's like, making them exceptional.
The two different houses, like, you know, like the other alien Max has and seemingly we'd assume the other potential aliens that are doing this, they're like, okay, the best actor, the best scientist, the best whatever, right? Whereas Walter seemingly has maybe like figured something out, or at least feels something different to all the other aliens, and that he has picked people who all care about each other, and that will be their strength as to how they might survive in a way that these other houses wouldn't. And that's maybe the humanity of it coming through. So I'm excited to see like more and more they touch on that as it goes. But I think that's absolutely what they're setting up. But we get back to the house, and the characters are, you know, jumped. You know, one woman jumps out with the crowbar, whatever it is. You get the one creepy guy who'd already started monologuing in the library, and that's the woman who like runs for the room with all the guns. So she's like going to like protect herself.
The armory.
Yeah.
I like that they added a John Wick room to the house when they rebuilt things, you know?
Yeah, which I don't think is a surprise. I think we saw this before, like when they first put it in.
Did
I want
we?
to say, I think at the very least, like I think this character had been using guns or had been like training with them or something.
Yeah.
So
the gun and stuff I got, but having the whole John Wick hidden room where she pulls a secret entrance thing, you know, and it opens up and she goes in there. Which that guy, the writer, I think his name is Vincent. He's creepy. I don't like him.
Oh yeah,
he makes me unsettled.
He was monologuing like last issue before this moment.
Yeah.
And then you've got the guy outside. He's getting beat over with a rock because two of them are jumping him. But you have one who shows up who wants to warn them, right? And because the two guys in the kitchen are like, there's a pop star in the kitchen, guys. Is it a good one? Yeah, it is. So they recognize it, which makes sense because we already know that a lot of the people in the other house are famous for what they do. Not all of them, but some of them are, depending on their profession.
Yeah. the idea that he says, "Is it a good one?" and the other guy goes, "Yes," and then he gets all like fanboy-y.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!" Even the way that it's written, and I was like, "Oh, this was a fun turn." And just the fact too that she's the one that is like, "No, look, you know, I'm trying to warn you, something bad's gonna happen." You know, so it does show that there is some humanity to some of them, and that they're not all on the same line.
Yeah, and we cut to, like, you know, the control room or whatever this is, where Max is talking to Nora, and Nora's like, "Oh, your house is kind of blunt. Like, they're just kind of coming in here, you know, swinging and doing crazy stuff." And it's like, well, you know, we need to try and, like, solve this. And even Max doesn't want to just, like, let his house do this, because his house is cheating, and therefore they will not win, because they're trying to, like, you know, kill everyone in another house. This will be considered, like, against the rules. So it's like, okay, can you do anything about it? And it's like, well, maybe we can, like, freeze time, right? So Nora actually sort of, like, puts the hand up to the controls and, like, does whatever, like, you know, stop. And then we find out that this freezes everyone that came from the other house, but not the original characters. So, for example, the woman who ran to get the guns from the safe room comes out, and there's a bullet just, like, there in midair, because this guy's bullet stopped along with him. The singer, you know, the pop star in the kitchen, she's frozen, and they do a cool thing in the art here where the clock's there in the background on the oven, just to sort of sell the idea of time. The guy with the rock, you know, he's frozen with his watch. And some of the characters even point out, this is actually a little bit creepier that they're just standing there now mid-swing with their crowbar or whatever it is.
Yeah, I like that the couple, the bigger guy, the acupuncturist, is like, she's not breathing, and his partner's like, she's dead. And he goes, "That's not what I said." You know, so it adds to that eeriness.
Yeah,
right.
They're literally
you're
paused.
not seeing them breathe; they're just motionless. Yeah.
Yeah, they're literally paused to the point of that, and then. So the one part that I wasn't sure on actually is that the one guy who was in, like, the control room for the house, right, and, like, the evil one from the other house had 6 arms, and he was doing all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And, like, has made like the atmosphere, like, start to erode because there's a hole in the house now. So, and that's kind of the ticking time clock now. Is like, oh, can we fix this before everyone dies? Is like, well, no, it'll need one of them. It'll need, like, a Max or a Walter to do that. But the guy that's in there with him, once the evil guy's frozen, he, like, is like, okay, you're frozen now. Can I fix what he's done? And he goes to, there's, like, another scene. It goes to the other house for a minute because Reggie's there with I think Ryan, and they're talking to the other characters. But when it comes back, the goatee guy, like, gets a knife from the bar and, like, cuts, like, basically, like, the side of his mouth. In fact, he refers to it in, like, the next page as, like, Joker smiles. So so you get an idea of it in your head what that means. He's but I never quite understood why he was doing this, though, because he does this and then.
So remember when?
There you go.
Yeah, in the last issue, when the guy with all the arms comes in, he disappeared his mouth.
Oh, so
the guy with the goatee couldn't talk anymore.
Oh, okay.
So
I'd
this was
forgotten
him
that.
cutting his mouth open. Yeah.
That makes so much more sense, because I was like, okay, why is he doing this? And then, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Do you know what? Now I'm looking at the previous page. I'm like, okay, I can kind of see that it's closed up, but I kind of assumed that because of the mustache, it was just covering his lip, and I couldn't see it. Oh, okay.
I had to remember that too, and I went, because it doesn't look, because we're just seeing his face as a face, like, we're not seeing the lack of the mouth. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I was like, oh, and then it clicked that the first thing that guy did was shut his mouth so he couldn't warn the rest of the house.
That's right. So,
because remember, he was doing the radio show.
That's something that will not be an issue when you're reading this in collected form. This is just having a month between issues. I just forgot that, so that's on me. But yeah, so he basically does that, and then he's like, okay, I'm going mad. I've got Joker lips. Let's try and save this place. So he starts, like, you know, tinkering with the controls, and I think that's when Nora's saying, can he fix this? Can he, like, solve the fact that they're all going to run out of oxygen in, like, 20 hours? And she's like, no, that'll take either me or Walter to step in. So yeah, and they basically say it's because that other guy, the evil guy who, like, who did this in the first place, was so good at it. He's like, no, he ripped open a hole in a way that can't just be fixed with the controls.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I took it as like you can like punch a hole in the wall, but it takes like a craftsman in order to patch that hole to make it look like there was never anything there.
Yeah.
So it really drives the thing. Like they might think that they're in control, but they're still not. They're only on still a very superficial level that they think. But because they're led to believe they're these exceptional people, they have this ego with it all, you know, and they're to quote Dr. Malcolm from Jurassic Park, is like they're wielding this power like a kid who found their dad's gun. You know, there's nothing else to it.
Yeah, and like Walter, his absence is like making like Nora and Max like, oh, is Walter anywhere here? And Max is like, I don't sense him here. Now, whether that means in the house, by the lake, or it means in this like in between place that they're in right now with all this controls and stuff, I'm not sure. But obviously, we're thinking he's the dog, and it seems like Oliver's kind of noticed that Walter's probably that dog. Because Reggie's like, hey, maybe I can get, because they talk to some of the other characters who were left here, and they're not all evil. Like some of these are like, oh god, they've went over there to try and kill all your people. We have to go and try and stop them.
Yeah. And even Reg notices that the one lady that came up, she goes, so you're like a governor or something. So he immediately recognizes her as a politician, and so she's almost like the representative of like, yeah, we're not all like them. You know, they've let this get to them. So I did like that too. So because what Nora and Max are talking about is it seems like they're going to have to merge the houses, but there can still only be 10 to make up for this big boo-boo. You know? And so it almost seems like now we're going to make a case for, you know, now it starts to get like Survivor, and we have to start voting people out. And that makes it much more stomach churning than a lot of the stuff that we've seen.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if those like future glimpses, and we get, obviously that was the start of this issue as well, was this like post-apocalyptic looking version of where the house is. I wonder if that's the people who have been left behind and not let into the new merged house or something like that. Maybe? I don't know.
Oh, that just made my stomach drop, because those are characters we all like. Right?
Yeah. But
like,
I don't, it may be too many though. I don't know like how many characters we've seen in that timeline yet.
True.
But regardless, Reggie's like, oh, I think I can like open up a doorway to the other side, and like someone kind of says like, oh, like how is that possible? We shouldn't be able to do that. And the implication is that oh, Walter's kind of helping like as a dog, like, and because Oliver looks down at the dog, is like, oh, you know, Max said a lot of things, you know, because Max said that none of us could ever do that, and if we ever touched like the portal stuff, like she would kill us. And Oliver's like, oh, Max said a lot of things, who knows how much of it was true, kind of thing. But he looks down at the dog after he says, somebody could be looking out for Reg, and he looks down at the dog, and it's like, oh yeah, like Walter's like helping. Like Walter's like secretly helping with the controls or whatever as they go here. So that makes some sense. So yeah, Reggie, kind of like, you know, reaches open and opens a portal. However, it looks like it hurts him. It looks like Reggie's in trouble from opening this, and that's what the cliffhanger is. So, like, on the one hand, if it's not really a critique per se, but because we spent like a good 4, 5, 6 pages even at the start doing the backstory stuff with Molly and talking about Walter again and his relationship with Oliver, like it was almost a little bit disappointing we didn't get more of like the aftermath of like them coming over and trying to kill everyone. We get some of it, but this cliffhanger almost caught me off guard, where I was like, oh, I thought we had like another couple of scenes left of you know, confrontation. I thought maybe they'll get back over to the first house first and then we'll get a cliffhanger or something, but that's just like an expectations thing more than anything. It's really only an issue reading it month to month, but yeah, that's cool.
I will say it's good here that because it looks like this is hurting Reg. There's 2 artists, which again, that's against the rules, right?
Yes.
So it seems like it's good that Ryan's there with Reg, because I feel like with Walter, if Walter can't like guide them exactly, he's already given them the pieces. So, you know, because this is that same realm where like they created everything out of that we saw in the last issue of like the, you know, with Reggie building the house and the secondary stuff. So, and then he mind wiped Walter mind-wiped him. So we've seen that he's been able to do this before. At least you would think, you know, and he just doesn't remember. And it's like maybe it's going to take 2 people. I don't know. But it doesn't look good for him. I'll tell you that much. The way this leads to be continued.
No,
it looks like he's in an awful lot of pain.
Yeah, the way he's screaming as like this just energy kind of washes over him does not look like a positive development for old Reggie. No, I mean, I love the conflict here of the 2 houses. And if this entire group are coming over to the original house, does that mean everyone from both houses are at the one house once they do? It might be. I'm not sure. But if that is the case, then it'll be interesting seeing kind of the fallout, especially once the characters themselves realize they're on a bit of a timer. If they do and realize they're on a timer until the oxygen runs out. But no, very you know. I mean, the book's always so fascinating with everything it's doing and setting up more stuff. You know, I'm sure there's some vital stuff in that opening flashback, or technically it's a flash forward to someone describing a flashback, but you know what I mean. I'm sure there's some vital stuff in there, but it some of it did feel like, oh, we've kind of done this before, like, you know, Walter's awkwardness with the others and like how he picked certain things. It didn't necessarily feel like a whole lot of new stuff, and it took away from time from the current plot, which is super exciting, and I wish there was a little bit more of it. But that's like a minor quibble when everything's so good and the art's phenomenal throughout.
So I'm looking at the character page for the last one, and the only person that's left in the other place, the nice house by the sea area, is the actor, right? Because he was trapped in the last issue. They had put him in that realm, right? Because he's not with the rest of them.
I thought he was. He's the one that looks down at the dog.
Is he?
That's the actor. That's Oliver.
Oh, that is Oliver. Okay. So yeah, nobody's there now.
Yeah, he was trapped in a room before they left. Yeah, that's right.
And then they let him out.
But then Walter...
That's another month to month.
Then the dog Walter, you know, smashed the glass or whatever to let him out. Yeah.
That's right. So yeah, nobody's over there right now because the ones that are with them, right? You have the mathematician, the senator, the priest. Those are all the ones that are with this crew at the end. And then and the actor. And then the artist, the historian, the writer, the doctor, the singer, and the scientist are all ones that went to the Wisconsin house, so the nice house by the lake. So no one is at this other one now, which is curious.
And hell, that other one might end up in the lifeboat. Everyone might end up evacuating to over there.
Right. And so I just realized that as we were talking, you know, because putting all these people, because again, it's a lot of characters to try to keep going and we use them by their archetypes, you know, but
it's 2 full pages of what, like 12 characters basically each, so it's like 24 characters all in. A couple have died, but like not that many, so we're still kind of juggling a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, only the doctor from the lake house, not the sea house. So, but then we make up for that by having the second artist.
Yes.
With Ryan, because you have the painter. So, yeah, it's wild. This is, despite having the gaps in between, this is still a great book. Like I read JSA and then this, and I feel like I got whiplash. You know, just because of just the quality and the investment in these characters that I have, you know?
It's just so much more rich. Every scene has like mystique to it. Every scene has like subtext and like what's really going on and excitement because they've set up things properly and everything's so beautiful to look at and like a really dark kind of, you know, sci-fi horror kind of way. It's gorgeous. So yeah, no, it's still excellent. So I guess the question is Nice House by the Sea the end of this? Because it kind of feels to me like there's probably one more book.
I think I remember seeing TYNION saying that there's it's a trilogy.
A trilogy, yeah.
So it's the lake, the sea, and then whatever's next. Because this definitely feels like a middle chapter with the way it feels. Kind of there's a lost element to it where we are now. We got the others, and now we're getting into that. But there's not. It doesn't feel like there can be resolution because this is issue 8. So if it's 12 like the other one, I don't feel 4 issues is going to be enough to get a full resolution to the entire
Yeah, it feels like
arc.
there's going to be one more 12-issue book after this one, would be my guess.
Yep.
So, yeah,
And I gotta,
we'll see you in 2030 by the
Tynion-
time this finishes.
yeah. And the way that Tynion is parsing these out too, it's just like, it's working really, really well in its favor, you know, because just how rich everything is. And again, we start to look at things differently from the last issues as stuff gets revealed. So it is like an experience as we read it. So, yeah, no, this is really good. And the art by Bueno, like all the arms coming off of that guy at the panel, and the fact that it just, nothing looks natural, but it does look natural. Like, it's weird. It definitely reminded me of The Thing, you know, like the John Carpenter movie. So yeah, just all that, and then the expressions on all the characters as well. You don't even need some of the dialogue to get what they're thinking, especially like that last section. Just looking at the expressions on the people as everybody else is talking, it shows that Bueno's taking that time to really form out these scenes, which is nice because you don't always get that in comics, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. I'm always excited to read it. And yeah, didn't disappoint this week either. So, what are you giving Nice House by the Sea issue 8?
8.5.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. 8.5 sounds right to me.
Stop copying my paper.
I just
change it a little bit. Teacher's gonna find out.
I think it has a little ding, and the opening, like, flash forward, flashback is just a little bit long. There's a bit too much of the book, so I feel like it ate into the other stuff, so I'm not going to give it quite the 9 and 9.5s that I sometimes do. But still very, very good, though.